Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Okay, so what I want to talk about is what do I do when I am faced with decisions in regards to all the amazing decks that are coming through, with pre-orders and decks that I actually want to add to my collection. What do? I go on to Book Depository and I have a good look through. And what I've done is I've actually created wish lists. So let me just click on here. Wish lists. So we've got astrology aspects, books, Chero Machete type decks, Druid cards, Gypsy, Linamad. I've got Kim Kran's decks still on my wish list. I know they're locked, it's not. I'm going to link to that, but anyway. Margaret Ann Lembo's decks, Mel Brown's deck, Oracle cards, tarot bags, tarot decks I would like, and tarot journals. So going into tarot decks I would like. So here we go here. So this is some, so what I do is I add, and they sit here for a while until I decide what I like. Sometimes decks will go out of print. Like this is two-path, a clarifying divinatory system. I have been wanting this to replace this deck. I had it, and unfortunately am unable to get it. I have tried and tried and tried. I don't know where to go. So I've sort of sat here on my wish list, hoping that one day it might come back into print, or I might get a bit more of an idea of where it's from. So these are some of the decks, sort of as you can see, just really quickly, that I've sort of looked at. Some of the bags in there I got it by accident. But if I go right up to some of the pre-orders, Complete Ethereum, that's sort of the one that I really want to order next, sort of sitting there until I go through and have a look. Things like the Tarot Vintage, it's got 109 days before it's available, so it sort of sits there until I'm really sure that I actually want it, until maybe I've seen a bit more pictures. Or then the Tarot Z deck I want the Tarot V deck, Dancing in the Dark. Now this actually, so you can see if I keep adding decks as I see them, you'll see this one's got 34 days to go. See, sometimes I'll put it on twice because they come up with different prints, different versions, different printings. See, there's Dancing in the Dark Tarot. I found it again. 48 days to go. There's the Healing Light, which I just saw from Andrew, said he's been working with it, so that sort of interests me. Then the Buddha Tarot came up. Saw that. I know it's a little bit dearer, but it's Robert in place. It's a little bit dearer than I would normally spend on a mass market type deck, but sometimes when something sort of special comes up, you sort of think, oh yes, I'll add that to it. I know it's 221 days to go, so it's something, so it means it gives me time to save up for it and go, okay, I've got a spare $100 in my account, I can afford to pay for this deck at this time. Mythic Tarot, I want to be there. Like I said, Tarot V comes up. Now that's 201 days to go, so I know I've got some time for it. So yeah, I look back and I think, oh yes, yes, yes. So I was just seeing what else was on my, so like the Moon and Star Tarot is another Jane Wallace deck, because I want to sort of get the collection. That's 146 days. So I know there's time for me to sort of put some money aside for these decks. So let's have a look at the Oracle cards that I want, that I know I've got to save towards. Now I still want the Sacred Path cards that I've had before and unfortunately disappeared. Again, it's sort of that $60 to $100 mark. So again, it's something that I'm sort of, yep, it's on my list, and yes, I want it. I definitely want some Shaman Decks, Rama, the Vision of Maui. Now that's a New Zealand one, and unfortunately not available. Yeah, I choose love. There's some playing cards get shoved in there as well. So going through, there's some decks that I most probably won't get, even though I like the imagery. Maybe the Ancient Feminine Wisdom of Goddess and Herons. I think I've got enough Goddess decks at the moment, so I'm not really worried about those. The Moon Oracle cards, I have got some Astrology aspect cards, so we'll see. True Love reading cards, I have got some Love Oracles. I do want the Beyond Lemuria. Like I said, I'm not too worried about the Goddess cards, so sort of can sit there for a while. I'm not really going to make that decision just yet. The Hero Dreams I definitely want. This range, the Herbery, that's quite cool, but there's only 36 cards. I'd like sort of maybe a few more. The Greek Mythology, I definitely want like the Mythic Tarot, so I'd quite like the Greek Mythology reading cards to sort of go together. I'm always looking at decks, what I can actually put, you know, what tarot decks I have to go with. Oracle decks, I don't have any Greek tarot decks at the moment, so maybe if I get the Mythic Tarot, I'll get the Greek Mythology reading cards to sort of go together. Voice of Trees, I'm not really that worried about. Gateway Oracle cards I had before, was one of those decks that disappeared, and I did quite like the affirmation aspects of it. I found they worked really, really well in a reading, so maybe. Cosmic Dancer sort of gave me that thought of, yep, is that sort of that spacey type feeling. So whether I get, there's a couple of tarot decks that I sort of looked at, gave me that spacey feeling. So maybe the Cosmic Dancer Oracle will sort of go with that. The Botanical Inspirations gave me that sort of antique type feel to it. The Transcendent Journeys, now I like that Eyes Through the Soul Oracle cards, so maybe that sort of same artist. Mystical reading cards are Fairy Blessings. See, I've got the Blessed Bee on the way. Don't know why that's still in there. Minimal Spirits was one deck I sort of looked at. Fairy Wisdom, Fashion. I actually looked at that for my daughter, but she's not really worried about it at the stage. Like I said, the White Light Oracle is also, it sort of gives it again that sort of, you know, I need to look and see what decks are similar, what sort of scratches that, you know, what decks are similar and what not to get into, you know, be careful not to get too many in the same theme, which can be a bit hard. I've had this deck before, Enchanted Oracle, and I don't know whether to replace it or not. It's still on my maybe list. Definition of the Ancients, this person I knew had it, and I'd played with it for a little while, so I'm thinking, do I want it? Achio, yeah, it sort of interests me. Haven't yet made a decision. Archangel Fire Oracle, Sacred Hags, decided against. I am sort of interested. I'm still sort of looking. Let's see there, Sacred Mysteries, the Chakra Oracle sort of interests me as well. Lynn Andrews really interested me in her Oracle deck, so there's a couple that I want from there. The White Eagle Medicine wheel cards interested me. Dow Oracle, Victoria Francis Dark. I wondered about the Dark Mirror Oracle. I wonder what that would be like with the Supernatural Tarot, but I'm still thinking. Phoenix cards, Raven cards, there's a bird. I was thinking of Murder Crows tarot deck, so I wondered if that would go, the Raven cards Oracle deck would go with that. Maybe. Winged Enchantment Oracle. The Elemental Oracle really interests me. Tea Leaf Fortune cards I really wanted, so I'm just going to wait and see when they're available. I mean, check to see if they're available. Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards, Messenger. So you can see I keep these things on my wish list, and I'll grab them when they sort of definitely want Seasons of Witch, the Yule Oracle. Now I've got the Samhain Oracle, so I definitely want the Yule Oracle, and that's 133 days to go. So I know that I need to put aside $40 for that. Oh, Through the Eyes of the Soul, that was the one. Now this is the borderless version. I had the original bordered version, but this is the borderless. So I'm thinking, oh, 17 days to go. Do I, in the next week or so, I need to think about, can I put that money aside? I have got some Kickstarters, so I do need to be careful. Some Reiki. Oh, the Earthcraft Oracle deck I really wanted. That's another 55 days to go. So you can see you're sort of putting aside, pre-orders. I definitely want the Green Witch Oracle cards. They sort of interested me. African Goddess Rising Oracle interested me. If I could have a look at one of the African tarot decks as well, I think they'd work really, really well together. And that energy-wise, it's just sort of a cultural interest. Just out of interest for me, for learning, for diving deep. Now, the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards I thought might go really well with the Primordial Tarot. Empathic Oracle to go with it. And the other one I thought was Mystical Shaman, whether that interested me as well. Ancestors, Secret Language of Light Oracle. No, Sacred Vision Oracle cards maybe to go with the Primordial Tarot as well. The Fifth Agreement card sort of interested me. Lantern Oracle gave me that sort of feeling. Buddha Wisdom Shakti Power would go with the Buddha Tarot. See, and then we've got the Bird Messenger, Kuan Yin Transmission deck. Oh, the Buddha cards interest me as well. Bird Visions, Sacred Light Oracle. So there's lots of decks, all that are sort of Secret Language of Light. And then there's this Sacred Light Oracle. So there's two, that's by Anna Stark and Selena Moon. And this is by Dinesh Javi and Daniel B. Holman. So there's decks that are sort of similar, so I need to really make a decision which one really interests me the most in my decision. So just want to sort of show you, I keep these decks on here for quite a while before I actually make a decision. Here's some Leninmand that I've thought about, this German one. That's playing card, the Mystic Leninmand as well. Maybe Leninmand. Some of these are still Rana George, Leninmand, the Egyptian one, the old style, Sibylla. Well, that's the Lotteria expansion pack. I still need to sort of look at that. Oh, the Millennial Lotteria is what I was thinking of getting. Brugia Lotteria, maybe. So there's a few, and Healing Light. There's a few decks that I sort of want, but haven't really made a major decision on. Of course, with Kim Kranz, we've got the we've got the normal decks here, but we've also got the pocket size. So I'm thinking, maybe I might go that way. Get the Wild Unknown just in the pocket size. Instead of getting the big sets. Margaret and Limbo, for those that don't know. Archangel, she's got a lot of, all with crystals, all with gemstones. We've got archangels, animals, mystic, saints, angels and gemstones. So yeah, got quite a few different ones. There's others I think, but that's, so they're quite cool decks. But do I really need them? As I've got quite a lot of I've got a lot of angels and archangel decks. I've got a few gems. I've got a few crystal decks. So do I really want to add to that? And then I've just got the the Telluric Tarot I've just backed on Kickstarter, so that gives me gemstones and plants. So yeah, it can sort of get a bit, like I said, there's Druid, there's a Druid Craft, a Druid Animal, Druid Plant, Celtic Linen Mud, Celtic Tree. There's a few tree decks that I've looked at. So I need to think of that. Shira Machete, Legacy of Divine, Tarot of Dreams, Horn des Jefler, Kipper, Tarot Grand Larks, and Oracle of Visions. Of course, there's Tarot Decorative, which I need to put on there as well. So yeah, there's a few books, a few tarot books I want as well. I want Ethne's books, I want Tom Benjamin's books, Back in Time tarot book, Janet Boyer. This one here, I really want Chakra and the Archetypes. Now, I've had this book before and really enjoyed working with it, so I want that again. Amber's got a few that I want. Dancing the Dream by Jamie Sains, Ina Segal's Secret Language. So what I do is I sit these on here for a while, and Energy Medicine by Donna Hedden. I also want that book again. I've had it and so want it. A few notebooks, that. A few Shakti, Tantra, Spirit World type books. So yeah, it's good to sit them on here and not make an impulse buy in a way. So you can sort of see, just gives you a little bit of an idea. This is the deck that I've got the Gypsy card deck here. I've got the Sibylla cards, so I really want that Oracle deck. A few books by Jamie Sands I really want. I want the Sacred Path workbook when I get the Sacred Path Oracle deck. When I get the cards, I want the book, you know, this sort of thing going on. There's a few books being recommended by different people. I thought, oh yes, I might add that to it. And of course there's Alexandra Mustrux. I've got both his Leninmand and his Kipper decks, so I sort of really wouldn't mind the book to have a look at. So yes, astrology, let's have a look. What have I collected into here? Black Moon astrology cards, Hellenistic astrology, astrology for lovers, Vedic astrology deck, Karma cards, Luminous. I haven't really fallen in love with that deck. I've sort of kept it there, but it's not something I'm not really worried about. But yeah, so you can see tarot bags, Radiant Wise, Black Cat Satin Magic. Here's a few. Heaven and Earth, Tarot Original. So when you get the decks, it's quite nice to actually have the books, the bags beside it. Bags as well. Tarot journals. There's a few tarot journals I wouldn't mind. I thought they were quite cute. Blue colour, blue colour. I thought that was there. So yeah, it can go a little crazy sometimes. Mel Brown decks as well. The Aboriginal, Chakra. And there's this one here. I know it's not by Mel Brown, but it's an Aboriginal deck. Aboriginal Walkabout Oracle cards. So I've really sort of wanted that one as well. So yes, the Aboriginal decks have sit there. I haven't really purchased any, but I just wanted to show you my wish list. Basically what I do is I just keep the decks on there, and then they can be seen. So yeah, that's it from me in my wish list, if you like, and how I sort of keep my list there and then I can go back and have a look at the list and think, now do I really want that deck this week? Do I want to hold on to it? Do I want to delete it? All those things come into play. So anyway, that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links below, check the links on my channel, like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.